Hi, everyone, and welcome to my live. I am Coach Sherry, and I am your career and business coach. And this channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, and of course, real life, real issues, and real talk. I coach individuals on empowering them by encouraging them and coaching them through things that they're going through in their life, in their business, and in their career. And I am so happy to be here with you tonight. Today is day 25 of November Thankful Nuggets. And I am thankful that today is Thanksgiving Eve. And I'm thankful that I do not have to cook a lot of food or hardly any food for Thanksgiving. And we are still going to have an amazing meal. And I can't wait till more people come in because I really want to get into what it is that you are thankful for today. And let's have some story time. All right. Whew, so today was a very long day, and I am just trying to get myself together. I see it's taking people a minute to come in. It took me almost a minute to come in. I'm surprised that I made it here, and I'm glad to be here. Today was really interesting. I had a lot of things to try and tie up, right after Thanksgiving. It's just a few weeks before Christmas starts to roll around. And I want to be in a good position with the type of work that I do, with the people that I assist, and make sure that they are straight for end of the year. So far so good, and just keeping it all together. If you don't already know, on Saturday night 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing a series. I started my first series, part 1, this past Saturday, and it was on commitment. And so if you are in a business, if you are wanting to start a business, but you need to build your foundation stronger, this 10-part series is just for you. And I invite you to come on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will have some information that will help you build up on your foundation. I encourage you to bring a notebook, your pen and paper, so that you can capture notes on what we will be discussing. So this Saturday, it's going to be who are your competitors? Who are your business competitors, your direct competitors, as well as your indirect competitors? And you will find out who they are and how you can work with them, perhaps collaborate with them, how you can also research them so that you can better position yourself in your industry. I'm trying to tell you, this everyday video has been so interesting to me. It gives me something definitely to shoot for. It's making me stay more committed. It is having me put out more content, obviously, since it is every day. And I'm really starting to enjoy, because it's giving me that window of purpose for my YouTube channel. Whereas before I would just fit it in, but now I know, like, I have to put this video out. This is something I set out to do. Tales of T and Really TT have been rocking with me and doing it as well. If you don't know them, they are great channels too, and they have been doing the November Thankful Nuggets on their channel, and I'm grateful that they've been doing this with me. So that is with that. So I am so thankful that it is Thanksgiving Eve. 2020 has been very challenging, and having a month of just saying thank you every day, although I say it every morning when I wake up, but just to put it out there in the atmosphere, to me, has been very therapeutic. I know that it has been well received by others because there's so much going on, especially on social media, rants and raves about just so many different things that's going on, not just in your town, your state, our country, but the world. So the more positivity that we can bring and put out there, the more content that we can put out there that has a more positive spin, the better it will be. They always say bad news travels fast, but I say if enough people are talking about good things, that can travel just as fast. So I am very encouraged by the positive and the thankful nuggets that are being sprinkled throughout YouTube. And I noticed that there's a lot of other channels that are doing something regarding around being thankful. This is the month of Thanksgiving. So, whatever we can do out there and put out there that is positive, I highly encourage it. If you are new to my channel, or if you've been here and you've just been on the fence and just wondering, I invite you right now to hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so that when I upload new videos, you can be notified. Also, if you think someone else needs to be part of this conversation tonight, be sure to share this video out. Please join the chat and communicate. That's the best way that we can do this, network and communicate. So come on into the chat and say hello. Also, if you are watching this on the replay, if you can leave a comment of what this video meant to you. So when I think about Thanksgiving Eve, when I think back far, I think about when I was growing up. Hey, Raleigh Creative Travel. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. So, this is day 25 of November Thankful Nuggets, and I'm thankful that this is Thanksgiving Eve. And I'm sharing my memories of Thanksgiving Eves in the past and just how they've evolved and even how they've changed so much, even to this day. So Raleigh Creative Travel, if you can put in the chat, what was a memory that you really enjoyed of Thanksgiving Eve? So in my town, and I grew up in a small town called Teaneck, New Jersey, and we had homecoming every Thanksgiving. We played our rival town, which was Hackensack, New Jersey, in football. And so the night before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving Eve, we would have a huge prep rally. And it wasn't during the day, it was at night. So everyone that had gone to college, people that had already graduated, people that were working, that lived in the town, came back to the high school for this huge prep rally. It was everything. I loved it. You got to see your old friends that had moved on. I remember my freshman year of college coming back, and it was almost like being the big person on campus. Everyone's running up to you because they hadn't seen you since you graduated, maybe that June. And hello, Vernell. How are you? Welcome to the live. It's great to see you. And so they would have the huge pep rally and everything. And then we had a huge barn fire that they would do that on the track around that ran around our football field. They would just, I don't know how they would build it up, but it would be huge wood sticks, blocks, and things of that nature. And it would be a huge barn fire, huge. And then they would have in our small auxiliary gym, we would have a dance. And that was a great time. I'd get home maybe 11, 12 o'clock at night. And all through high school, I was either in the marching band. And when I wasn't in the marching band, I was a football manager. I did the offensive stats for the football team. So either way, I always had to get up early on Thanksgiving to get ready for the big game. Unfortunately, the whole time I was in high school, our high school always lost that rival game, and for many, 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 many years, that my town lost to Hackensack. My mother actually grew up in Hackensack, and even back when she was in high school, we used to lose to Hackensack. So, good. It's so good to see you. So, Vernell, what we're doing is sharing memories of Thanksgiving Eve. I know that Thanksgiving is the big, big holiday, but Thanksgiving Eve, the preparation for that big day, I think is just as important, just as exciting. And so that's what I wanted to do, have a story time and have everyone share out of when they were growing up and how that was. So Raleigh Creative Travel is saying, I had a small family, so 5 or 6 of us would watch our mom and grandmother cook, getting ready for Thursday. Oh, how lovely it smelled. I know the smell of food cooking all night on the Thanksgiving Eve was amazing. And so thank you, Vernell. Thank you. Yes, please, as you come in, if you don't mind, to hit the like button, give this a thumbs up, share this out if you want to have just a story time chit chat the night before Thanksgiving. That's what this is going to be about because I am thankful for it. Just those memories of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is going to be so different this year for so many, where the relatives aren't able to gather like they used to, because of what we're going through as a world, as the world, not just a country. And so I wanted to kind of bring those memories back to life tonight in this live. Yes. And I'm glad that you all are speaking to each other. Yeah. And so Raleigh Creative Travel is great that you all sat and watched your mom and grandmother, because I didn't really watch my mother cook. My mother was an amazing cook. She cooked everything from scratch. It she never made canned vegetables. She cooked every single solitary thing from scratch, and her food was always so dynamic, flavorful. Everything had its own unique taste. But I wasn't into food when I was growing up, so I never sat under her while she cooked. I was just the cleanup crew. So, after she finished, I would clean up and everything. So, because of that, I don't know how to cook. And so that's one thing that I wish I would have done so that I could have gleaned some of her talents. So when you can you cook well, and if so, what is the one recipe or the many recipes that you have from your mother and grandmother that you enjoy and can make just as good as they? Let's see. So Raleigh Creative Travel saying, and bed sleep never would take place because we would go back Friday shopping most years. So for me growing up, Black Friday really wasn't a thing. We we didn't really go shopping like that, the day after Thanksgiving. I know that it's really, really popular with a lot of people, even before it was called Black Friday. That's just what people would do. They would start their Christmas shopping. For whatever reason, that wasn't something my mother and I did. Um, but I do know that the smells when I would come home from the party, the barn fire, the prep rally, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I would come home and my mother would be in the kitchen. Sometimes she might have her sister over from New York. She would come and stay with us for Thanksgiving. Sometimes she would have her best friend in the kitchen with her and they would just be chatting away. But she would be in full force, like no time soon getting ready for bed. I could never understand what she was making that could take her having to stay up all night. They literally would stay up all night. And Vernell is saying, my greatest memory of Thanksgiving Eve, it's helped my mom um, purple food. Oh, food is smelling a nice aroma in the house. All my uncles on both sides coming over for sweets. Yes. Hello, Lisa Black. Great rising to you. It's so great to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And Raleigh Creative Travel is saying, yeah, Black Friday only took place about the time I became a teenager. Okay, so probably when I was growing up, it wasn't a thing. And that is fine. So I remember even coming home from college, for Thanksgiving break and just being so excited to get, first of all, good home cooked food and to see my relatives and my family's business, because my parents owned and operated two flower shops for 40 years in New Jersey. They were always so busy around the Thanksgiving holidays because back then people would get centerpieces for their table. They would get the oblong centerpieces or the round centerpieces depending on their table size and with the candles in it. I don't think people do that anymore. People don't set their tables with their china and tablecloths and things like that. So many people are now into paper products, paper plates, and everyone just sitting wherever, not everyone necessarily sitting at one table. My mother would always extend her dining room table. We'd have family coming in and out throughout the day on Thanksgiving. I remember sometimes when we would have a lot of family members over, and I don't, oh, my parents had a split level house. I was going to say I wasn't sure what type of house it was, but it was a split level house. And if you're familiar with split level homes, there's that one level where it's the kitchen, living room, and dining room, and the living room and dining room is like a L shape. So my mother would extend the dining room table, and then they would add other tables like folding tables to that table to extend it all the way out through the living room. And so everyone would sit around, and she would have tablecloths on all of the tables. Everyone would use china and silver flatware and drink out of glasses. She never used paper products, especially not on holidays. And my mother had a beautiful, and it's still in our family, china pattern and crystal and things like that. And that was just a day for it. That's why I never really concerned myself with cooking and learning how to cook, because I'm looking around and I see all the pots and pans and everything. And I'm thinking somebody's going to have to clean this up. And I knew it was going to be me. I was the only girl. And if I was lucky, my girl cousins, my female cousins would stay back and, help me clean up. Otherwise, I just knew that was my job. So I didn't mind. I really didn't. To this day, I still enjoy washing dishes. So Vernell is saying, can't be with your loved ones on Thanksgiving and the rest of your family that's here with you, FaceTime zone them and do your cooking and laughing and play your music, oldies but goodies. Yes, Christmas songs. Yeah, that's what we're going to have to do. I just got a notification from one of my favorite cousins, and who's like a sister cousin. It's another one. I have about 3 or 4 really close sister cousins, and Vernell, I know you do as well. And she had given me the link because she was saying tomorrow we're going to Zoom, and just kind of enjoy each other that way. But yeah, those are just really, really fond memories. And no, it's not going to be the same. And it's so unfortunate, but it's for the safety. And like someone said, we want to be safe for Thanksgiving so that we can be here for Christmas, because so many things are going on and you just never know how it might affect, or how, someone might become ill. Who knows? I mean, it's even beyond C-19, because tomorrow is not promised to us regardless. But you just don't want to take those chances. Absolutely not. And Vernell is saying all the split level homes are back east in Victorian homes, 3 levels when with a basement, for those who don't know. Yes. So the thing with my parents' split level house, it was really interesting. Because they have several types. We have you have 3 levels, especially on like you're saying up north. It's a lot. Every house has a basement up north. It's not like in the south you have to be on a certain, like, the ground has to be certain elevation for you to have a basement, and they're typically walkout basements. Whereas in the north, the basements are down under the ground, and you oftentimes, just depending on, but the majority of the time, the basements, you can't access them from outside. You have to go in the house. But my parents had a split level house that had, every level had 7 floors. So we had a full basement. It was we had a full bar. I mean, my brothers used to have parties. My parents used to have I used to have parties down there. A full basement. And that's where the boiler room was and things like that. And that's all that was on that, just that huge room, that was it was finished, full finished basement. Then you go up 7 steps, and that's where the back door was. There was a bathroom on that level, the laundry room, and our family room, which we called a den. And it also led out to the garage, and that was on the ground level. Then you go up 7 more stairs, and that was the kitchen, the living room, and the dining room, and the front door. And then you go up 7 more stairs, and there were 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Then you go up 7 more stairs, and it was a huge, what we call in the South, a bonus room, but it was just a huge open room. And it was like another family room, but maybe for the kids. And my mother turned it into her office after we all kind of moved on and moved out. And then you go 7 more stairs, and it was the attic. So it had so many different levels. It was really interesting because it never seemed, that big, because it had so many walls. That was the thing. And I remember, after moving to, I think it was New Orleans, and seeing that was the first time I really was exposed to real open floor plans. And I was telling my parents, like, y'all have too many doors and too many walls in this house, because those houses have so many walls. It's not like the newer construction that you see today, where you're in the kitchen but you can see into the family room and things like that. So I remember my parents had cut the wall, one of the walls in the kitchen, so it opened up into the dining room, and that helped that level right there to kind of have a nice free flow to it, which was really really interesting. And then I know my husband's parents, they lived in Long Island, and their house, they called it a splanch. It was a mixture of a split level and a ranch. So you walk in on the ground level, and there's a bathroom, the kitchen, the dining room, laundry room, and family room. And then you go out into the backyard or to the garage. Then you walk up, but it's like off to the side, kind of. And then you walk up, maybe it wasn't even 7 steps, it might have been 4 or 5 steps. And that whole space was the formal living room. And that looked over into the family room. And then you walk up, maybe, I don't know. And you can get to that living room from 2 sides. And then you walk up maybe another 6 or 7 steps, and that's where all the bedrooms were and the bathroom. And that was how it was. So they called that a splanch because no level was above each other. So like that living room wasn't a room that was, oh, and then they had a basement, of course. But no room was over another floor. So the living room wasn't over anything. It wasn't over the family room. The bedrooms were not over the living room. You When you go into the bedrooms, it was like a long hallway, and you can look over into the living room and into the family room. It was really an interesting floor plan, interesting concept. So that was called a splanch. That's what my mother-in-law called it. So yeah, I really really enjoyed it. My father's sister, she lived in Long Island as well, and my aunt Ruth, and she is one of the nicest people that I've ever met. She is the sweetest, 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 sweetest woman, and she would always have a huge Thanksgiving. This is after I graduated from college, I want to say, and my parents started going out there more often, because when I was growing up, we didn't really go out there for Thanksgiving as much as we did once I finished school, and that was just kind of like the place to go. And so now, my aunt Ruth lives in another part of New York where my sister cousin, that's her mom, she lives, and they always have, everyone gathers around them for the holidays, which is really really nice. And I enjoy that. So let me tell you, I don't cook, okay? So when once we got married, my in-laws would fly out wherever we were for Thanksgiving to be with us, and my parents would fly out for Christmas. So so we were living in, let me see, St. Louis. That's right. Okay, yeah. So we were living in St. Louis, and it was the first year that the St. Louis Rams, were in St. Louis. Prior to that, they were in LA as the LA Rams. And so I really, 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 really enjoyed the Rams that year when they were first in St. Louis, because when they were in LA, for me, I felt like an outsider. I was, my husband was new, but he was fine with the players. But, for me, socially, it wasn't that good. The women at the time, they were not open, they were not that friendly to me. And I can say this openly because I've told them since, like, wow, you were low key. I wouldn't call them bullies because they just didn't deal with me. They just didn't say anything. And I was really, um, well, it was just really interesting to me because when my husband was with the Giants, I knew other girlfriends because we would maybe do double dates or just going out in the town, and we would see people out, and I would just kind of hang out with the other women in that way. But I didn't really need to do much because I'm from up there, so I had my friends, I had my family around me all the time, so I didn't have to know anyone. It wasn't like I was in a new city or anything like that. But like when we were in LA, that's a completely new city for me, and I didn't. Hi, East Belize. How are you? It's good to see you. It's great to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. We're just talking about Thanksgiving Eve and how it used to be, and our special memories of that. I'm just really thankful for those memories. So yeah, I was. What was I saying? Oh, so when we were in LA, the women were not friendly towards me. I mean, they were friendly for each other, but no one was really checking for me. And I was like, oh man, like I can't get my footing. This is like really different for me. And I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. I loved LA now, don't get me wrong. I loved where we lived a lot, and but it was just a different vibe, and I was so far from everyone. Luckily, one of my husband's cousins, who is from New York, for whatever reason, I don't even know why, but she moved to LA. So her and I hung out a lot when I was there. So when we moved to St. Louis the next year, and now everybody is new to a new city. Nobody is from there. Nobody knows anyone from there. We are all on even playing field, and it was so amazing. And we lived in a complex that a lot of the players lived in as well. We lived in Chesterfield, Missouri, which is outside of St. Louis. And I'm trying to tell you, I loved where we lived. It was a complex that had townhomes, and I know our floor plan was one of the baddest, meaning good floor plans that they had. I loved it. It was a three-story townhouse. The whole entire upstairs was the master suite. It was about 18 stairs to get upstairs. It had a nice little landing. Then you come downstairs and you had the living room, dining room, eating kitchen, a guest room, another bathroom. Then you go down to the finished basement. It was a huge basement, and it had a big laundry room off of it, and the garage was down there. And I don't know, I just really, and it was just my husband and I loved that place. One of my favorite places. I loved the way when you drove into the community, how hilly it was, and it just, on the inside and outside, it was just beautiful to me. And so, like I said, everyone was new, and so people were more friendly. So the women that wouldn't speak to me before, some of them were living across the street or next door to me. So now we're all like, "What are we doing? What's going on? Who's doing your hair? Whatever, whatever." And it made it pleasurable, because I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel like I'm part of this whole situation. So when Thanksgiving was coming, and I knew my in-laws were going to come, and my father-in-law was an executive director for nonprofit organizations, and my mother-in-law taught fourth grade in Brooklyn. And so they were coming flying in from New York, and I remember they had collard greens with them, and she had her sweet potato cake. I hope that some of you are going to try to make the sweet potato cake this holiday. I love it. And if you do, please make a video and somehow tag me or let me know that you have done that, because I would love, love, love to see how your version of the sweet potato cake comes out. But at any rate, my husband he's really a introvert, but he knows the importance of being an extrovert, and he wanted to kind of pull the guys together, because you know everybody was a fish out of water in St. Louis. We were able to get really good footing. I made really good friends outside of the football team, and we connected with a community center that dealt with youth, and we did a lot of work with them, and I loved it. It was just really amazing. We ended up having an organization called Jones Communities, and we would do a lot of outreach, with the youth in whatever city we lived in, and I loved it. So my husband was like, I want to invite some of the team, to come over, because not for whatever reason, not everybody's family was going to be able to fly in for Thanksgiving. And, a lot of the guys were going to be by themselves. Some of the guys, especially the ones that were single, they were going to be alone, or it was just the husband and wife, and they may have had a young baby, or whatever. And he was like, I just want to put it out there and invite some folks over. So I was like, okay, that's fine with me. Now mind you, I don't cook. So, and hey, J Love Blog, happy Thanksgiving, blessings to you as well. Thank you. And Vernell is saying, look at Stovetop Kisses on YouTube. She has a sweet potato cake. She is a good baker too. Okay, I'm gonna look for hers. Absolutely. So, but I don't know if it's gonna top my mother-in-law's, because that cake right there, that recipe. And in that video, when I was talking about it, I did link I did put the recipe in the description box. So if any of you are interested, I forget which day it was, but it was this month that I talked about it, the sweet potato cake. So when my mother and father-in-law came into town, I told them, I said, we invited the team, whoever on the team wanted to come to dinner for Thanksgiving. And so, and my mother and my mother-in-law, they cook, not only cook all night, but they cook for so many people. And that's why my husband was really confident that if he did that, we'd always have enough food for everybody, because his mother would always cook a ton of food. And so she was like, okay, and y'all, we stayed up all night long. I kept asking her, like, can we go to bed now? Because it was like everything, my goodness, it was so much food. And I want to say we may have gone to bed around 4 o'clock that morning. I'm not sure, but I didn't want to leave her. I was just like I just helped prep the food, and she did whatever else to it. I just kind of peeled things, rinsed stuff off, cleaned stuff, that kind of thing. But she was doing the cooking, and I didn't want to leave her awake by herself. I felt like that would be totally wrong. So I would stay up, but I would go into the family room every now and again, try to catch a little nap or something. And it was just like, please, can we go to sleep? Let's see. Thank you, Vernell. I appreciate you. Everyone is speaking. Hey there, House of X Entertainment Inc. It's good to see you in the building. I'm doing well. How are you doing? I hope you are doing good. Yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. So, um, it turned out it was most of the offensive linemen that came for dinner. So I want to say, mm, well, not most. It was about 8 offensive linemen, and a couple of them were single. I know one of them, his wife was doing her medical residency in DC, so she wasn't able to get off for Thanksgiving, and so he was by himself. But the others had like a wife and maybe like a toddler, and then one guy had his girlfriend. They lived together, so it it was like 20 of us probably, in my townhouse. And the only thing that someone bought was one of the girlfriends bought oh no, okay, so one of the girlfriends bought a Jello mold. Y'all know, are y'all familiar with a Jello mold? It's like Jello and you put stuff in it or whatever, and it's like a bundt cake. It looks like a upside down bundt. Well, no, it was like a bundt cake, but it's Jello, like, and it was green. So she brought that. And I don't know if you are familiar with offensive linemen, but they can eat some food, okay, real food. So she brought that, and then somebody else, one of the guys, oh my goodness, Corey. Wow, you guys, he passed away, but Corey was a rookie, and they called him a. I don't know if you know this, but some teams have what they call a project, and that's someone who is has the capacity and the capacity to play the position, but is not quite competent to play the position. And they're not competent because they never really played it before. Like this guy, it was huge. He was an offensive lineman, but that wasn't like what he did his whole, like, in college. He played basketball, but he was a big guy. And I don't know how, but they found him and they called him a project. So they were grooming him to play for real in the league, and you kind of like are on a practice team type of thing or something like that. But Corey was the sweetest guy, and he grew up around my husband, so my husband was familiar with his older brothers. And let's see, quotes to your husband and still player pro, or oh, he's retired. He's been retired for years now. He played for 10 years in the league, and now he's retired for now. So Corey brought macaroni and cheese, and it was so good. And I just couldn't even believe he made it because, here he is, this young man, rookie, single, and he come with this big thing of macaroni and cheese. And here he comes with that. But then we have, families, and these women know how their husbands eat, and they didn't bring anything. But like I said, my mother-in-law always cooked enough for everybody. So we were straight with that. So it was no problem with that. And it was a wonderful time, a great fellowship. Most of the time the guys stayed in the basement and were, talking and everything. And the women, we stayed upstairs in the family room. But when it came down to, blessing the food and eating like that, we all came together. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful fellowship. And that is a really fond memory that I have of Thanksgiving, especially that year, because I loved St. Louis so much. And, that was just part of one of the reasons why I really loved it, because that right there, that can't, that didn't happen anywhere else. And I know it happened there because we all were new. I know since then there's been a couple of more new teams that happened. I want to say maybe Baltimore. No, not Baltimore. The Ravens, I think, came after the Rams in St. Louis. So, and did the Panthers come after? No, the Panthers didn't come after St. Louis. But it's really rare to be part of a team that moves to a new city. And when that happens, it is a special thing. It is, I believe, it's a special bond that team gets because everyone is new. Everyone is a fish out of water, flailing around trying to find their way, and it really helps to connect. It's a great connector. We were so connected that, okay, so the next year we actually went to New Orleans, and they played New Orleans in St. Louis. Well, New Orleans played St. Louis for Christmas. The last game, it was like the last game of the season or something like that. It wasn't on Christmas, it was around Christmas, but it was, like their Christmas game or whatever. And I went to the game because I knew everyone there and I loved them. And, I was just going to go and see everyone. And so the night before the game, I was over at one of the players' houses, with his family, and just we were all just hanging out. And the wives had told me they were going to sing at halftime. And they said, "You want to come and sing?" Now mind you, my husband plays on the Saints right now. We're in St. Louis playing the Rams, but the wives from the Rams invited me to sing with them Christmas carols at halftime. So I was like, "Yeah, I want to sing." So I can actually say that I sang halftime at a NFL game. So we're out in the field during halftime and we're singing our Christmas carols and having a good time. It was well received. We did a great job. And when we were leaving the field, the teams were coming back onto the field. And so some of the Saints saw me and was like, "Miss Jones, like, what are you doing?" It was hilarious because they were like, "Wait, who are you with? What?" And I was sitting with the Rams wives during the game too. But, I always root for my husband regardless. Whatever team he was on, that was my favorite team. That's why when people say, "What's your favorite team?" I don't really have a favorite team because football was business for us. And since I know that business side of things, it's a lot different than just seeing it as a fan. And so my perspective is totally different. And also, living with the aftermath of it. I mean, it's a generous industry, but it's a very tough industry. And, so knowing that other side of it makes me feel a little some kind of way about it. But at any rate, after that St. Louis dinner and how much work went into it, I remember my mother-in-law didn't really get a chance to fully enjoy that Thanksgiving because she was so tired. You know, mind you, she traveled from New York, flying in. She cooked before she came to us while she was still in New York, then coming there and doing all that cooking and staying up half the night and everything. It was a lot. So she had to lay down for a good bit of Thanksgiving. And I looked at that and I said, you know what? I can't do this. I can't. I want to be able to, if we're going to have people over, I want to enjoy the people that, that I have coming over. I don't want to be so tired that I can't enjoy my family and friends. So I have to do something different. First of all, I can't even cook like that. So no one's going to even want to come and eat my food anyway. So I feel very fortunate that since that year, we always get our Thanksgiving catered. Now, I learned how to make an amazing macaroni and cheese while we lived in New Orleans. And I promise you, if there's a macaroni and cheese contest, I will definitely enter it and probably win because my macaroni and cheese is everything. And that's the one thing that I make. That's something that my family always requests. I only make it maybe 4 or 5 times a year, and it is amazing. But everything else, we have it catered. We get fried turkey, yams, greens, string beans, corn, stuffing. What else? Sometimes my husband will get like white potatoes or rice, which I'm like, we got all this other stuff, ham, like all those things. And so, like, he picked everything up tonight, and then tomorrow, all I'll have to do, and I put it in all my pots and everything. It looks like I made it. When we would have family or friends to come over, they would never know the difference unless I tell them. So, and I'm not one to front. I'm not one to say like, yeah, well, I did that a couple of times, but I'm not really one to say, yeah, I made all this. But trust me, when you can already have everything made for you in that way, I mean, well, I don't cook, but if you cook anyway, why on the holidays not take a break? Take a break on the holidays if you can. And so you can enjoy your family and friends. I was talking to one of my friends in California in San Francisco, and she was saying this is going to be her first year getting her Thanksgiving catered, and she's like, I'm so excited because I'm thinking about the long walk I'm going to be able to take, the time I'm going to be able to share and spend that quality time without worrying about cooking and doing all this. So I'm really glad that she tried it. She's doing that. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? So yeah, Vernell, it's just going to be my husband, my kids, and myself for Thanksgiving. We are just going to be here at home, staying close to home. Now, the day after Thanksgiving, I'm gonna see how things go for Thanksgiving. I do want to go and see my dad, at least lay eyes on him. He does live 4 hours away, but he's going to be relatively by himself, and since with C19 is going to be really challenging. My brothers aren't going to be able to come to see him, and I really want to try and go see him for Thanksgiving. What are you doing? Hi, Just Vlogging Life. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. So, what are some of your Thanksgiving memories, the ones that you cherish the most, especially since we are not all having Thanksgiving the same anymore, at least not this year? What is something that you are not going to be able to do this year that you have done and you really are going to miss that? That's that one thing that you're like, man, I wish that we could do this. For me, I think being with family, I took that for granted. I just it was really challenging to get back home, and this would have been the one year that we could have done a little bit more with our extended family, because prior to this my daughters always played basketball, my son played football. We always had a lot of things going on. We had these tournaments on the weekend of Thanksgiving, and we were going, going, going. And so we never were able to fully take advantage of the time. Even for Christmas, it was always Christmas tournaments for basketball. It was always this or that. And now that my kids are all out of high school and they're not playing sports like they used to, we have the time, but now no one can do those things. So it's disheartening. It's that's why I don't take it for granted. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Take that time. I wish I would have, forewent some of those tournaments to say, you know what, we're not doing that. We're gonna go over here with the family instead. But you never think that you don't. It's a balance. You don't know which time or where to put that time in. So I just that's something I'm going to miss. Something I'm going to miss being with extended family. Although I love being with my family, and even though I'm always with my husband and kids, just for that holiday, I don't know. It's just a little different. It just makes it a little different. So, what are you all doing for Thanksgiving? Are you going to stay home, or are you going to go somewhere, take that chance? Are you going to have people over? I know that even though it's not your immediate family that's in your house, there's a lot of people that live near family and they see them frequently. And so they feel comfortable to do Thanksgiving together. And I know that's happening. Unfortunately, I don't live near any of my family. So going to see them is like Russian roulette because they don't know where I've been, who I've been with, whatever, and vice versa. So it makes it more challenging. Absolutely. I see everyone is speaking. So I wanted to share those two things with you because those are memories that always put a smile on my face and makes me feel so good about the holiday. The time that I spent with my family when I was younger, and then how Thanksgiving evolved for me as a grown woman, as a married woman, as a mother, where I'm not doing those traditional cooking like my mother and mother-in-law did, but we still have all those traditional foods. It still tastes just like they made it because we get it done at us from a soul food place. So it is made with a lot of soul and it's delicious, but it's just not me being up all night. Put a one in the chat if you grew up in a household where when the holidays came, whoever was doing the cooking was up all night doing it. I just don't know, what are you doing when it's all night? I don't understand. You're gonna be home chilling, he believes. I hear that. I hear that. Yes. I remember one year, it was when we were in St. Louis, and my mother-in-law, she would always tell me what she needed, before they came. So she was like, I need X, Y, and Z, boom, boom, boom. And I would get it. So when she came, we could just start doing what she needs to do. And she said, did I tell you to get butter? I thought you got butter. I said, yeah, I got butter. And she said, you did? I don't see it. You're like, where is it? And I said, it's right in the refrigerator. And she said, I don't see the butter. And I said, it's in the fridge. And so I went and I said, here it is. And she looked and she was like, I'm sure she must have had some reservations about me and for her son, because she was like, Sherry, this is not butter. This is margarine. I said, no, it's not. It says, I can't believe it's not butter. She was like, what in the world? I thought, I can't believe it's not butter was butter. I thought it was saying, it's so good for you. I can't even believe that it's butter. It was so crazy. Yes, just vlogging life, Yeast Belize. So the people that cooked in your family, the women or the men, stayed up all night. That thing was so crazy to me. But so she was like, we have to get real butter. I can't cook with this. And of course, because it was late and it was Thanksgiving Eve, all the supermarkets had already closed. We had to go to a gas station that had a convenience store attached to it to get butter. It was crazy. She said, "No, this is not butter." I said, "It is." It said, "I can't believe it's not butter." And she said, "It's not butter." So we had to do better. So I tried to do Christmas dinner, and it turns out because I can't cook, it don't matter what holiday it is, it's always going to not work out. So when we were in California, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to fry some chicken. And it was my first time trying to fry chicken. And my husband invited one of his teammates over, and they offensive linemen eat a lot. They're big guys, and so you want to make a lot of food, and God willing, you want that food to be good. So I'm trying really hard. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make some fried chicken, and I don't even know what size I don't even remember the other sides that went with it, because that fried chicken was such an epic fail. It was unbelievable. All right, I had never fried chicken before. I knew that they use grease, and that's kind of all I knew. I didn't realize anything else. And I don't know why I didn't call my mother to ask her how to do it, or my mother-in-law. I don't know. I just was going off of what I thought it was. So I had the frying pan, and I probably put as much grease in the bottom as you would put for, how like if you put grease in the pan and you just are coating the bottom of it, just maybe you're trying to saute some vegetables. You know how you saute vegetables, you might put a little grease. That's how much grease I use to fry the chicken. I cleaned it. And when I clean it, I use Dawn dish soap, baking soda, I use salt, and I got up in there. I was cleaning it at my brush, all that, and gloves. And so, okay, I cleaned it. That chicken was pure white when I finished cleaning it. Okay, and then no, Vernell, my daughters don't cook. They don't. They're just like me. It's awful. But my youngest, she actually cooks desserts pretty well. She follows directions really good with dessert. She does great. So I cleaned the chicken really, really good, right? It was squeaky clean, like squeaky clean. And I didn't use flour. Yeah. I didn't use flour. And I didn't have that much grease in the pan. Yep. So when we sat down to eat, it really wasn't edible. Ugh, it was awful. The chicken was kind of charboiled or burnt, and however, on the inside, it wasn't cooked at all. So my husband and I and his teammate, we sat around a table, and we were looking at each other. We was all like, and he was so happy. His friend was so happy to come and have dinner with us. Um, we looked at each other, and we didn't say anything. We just looked at each other around the table, like, my husband and his teammate, they just had practice, so they good and hungry. And I'm looking at them. I said, so I remember the neighbors inviting us over for dinner. Do you remember that? And my husband's like, yeah, yeah. I said, so I know we turned it down, but maybe we could still go over there for dinner. And we could bring Daryl too. We I know they invited us, but maybe they have room for three. And we went to our neighbors, and I was like, and I think I had like a apple pie or something, and maybe something else that was edible. I think I had some chopped up vegetables or something, and I was just like, first, and I just said, I we dinner didn't turn out like I thought it would. It just didn't. So I know you invited us. I know we said we were good. We were gonna have dinner at home, but is it possible? Like, do you have anything left that maybe we can have? And they were like, yeah, come on, because our neighbors were old school. They were retired. They were older, so they she cooked food for way more than enough people, and that is how we had to spend that Christmas. It was the craziest thing. We were with strangers, basically, just like, Yeah, how you doing? It's good. It's all good. Just because I just didn't know how to fry chicken or anything else, really. Everyone, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. So then another Christmas, and because typically my parents would come to us for Christmas, but for whatever reason this year on Christmas they didn't come and we were living in New Orleans. And I was like, I want to make a duck. I think I think duck would be a good thing because in my mind I'm a gourmet cook. So, I'm thinking I want to make a duck. Oh my goodness. I think that year we ended up eating what's it called? It's a bag, the voila, um vio it's like viola, voila. It's a bag and it has pasta in it and vegetables and chicken, and you put it in a pan, and because I used to cook a lot of that. And so, you put it all together because the duck, first of all, it tasted like I just killed it. It was and then it had these little legs, and I'm wondering, is this a what is this? A parakeet? Like what kind of duck? So that was an epic fail as well. And that's when I realized, okay, not only do we have to get Thanksgiving catered, but we also have to get Christmas catered because obviously, you know, those are two meals out of the year you just don't want to mess up. First of all, especially back in the day, it really wouldn't be any other place you can go. If you mess that meal up, where are you going to eat? Where? Every place is closed. So, but I'm thankful for those memories. I'm thankful that we survived them. No one got sick from the food or anything like that. And hi, Garrett Spencer. I'm glad that I learned that I'm not the greatest at cooking those types of meals, and no one suffered. So that's what I'm really thankful for that. But it was great memories, and to this day the players that came over for Thanksgiving dinner, they still will still laugh and talk about that memory and how it was back then. But and I don't know if a lot of teams do that, and they really should, because typically the players are not from that city, they're from someplace else. I mean, my husband really really lucked out in getting drafted by the Giants and being from New York. That is so rare. But the holidays, especially for athletes, it can be kind of lonely. They still have to work, they still have, they're away from their family, and just the traditional things that life had been like before is just it's just different. So it's just important, I think, as if you are a fan and if you're able to, well, I don't know how the games are being played now, but if you are able to, just wish them a happy holiday. If you see them out and about, wish them a happy holiday, because a lot of times they're not with their family. And there's nothing that can take the place of that. No matter how much money you have, your family cannot be replaced. It doesn't, money can't buy you love, money can't buy you comfort and joy and all that. Only family oftentimes can do that. And having great friends also is helpful. Your friends sometimes are the family that you're able to choose. And so you can have great friends in your circle. And we were very fortunate to have great friends as well in our circle that were very, very much like family. That makes a big difference as well. So, you guys, I just wanted to come here. Let me see. I wanted to come here and to share that with you. I hope that you got another look at who I am. People are always amazed that I can't cook. I mean, my husband was well over 300 pounds and never missed a meal. So even though I couldn't cook, I always had food. I know how to get food. And I can't do everything great, so that's just not what the thing is. I remember when we were dating, and I had never cooked for him or anything. He would cook. He cooks, but not that good either. But he cooks for sustenance, and he tries. He enjoys that. That's part of his love language, is like providing food for us, cooking for us. So that's what he does all the time. And I had asked my mother to cook lasagna. I remember, and she cooked lasagna, and I said, I'm gonna take it over to his place, and tell him I made it, because they always talk about the way to a man's heart is through his stomach or whatever, which is not true. Um, yeah, I know how to get food, Vern. I know how to get food. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, just vlogging life. Happy Thanksgiving. It's good to see you. And yeah, I know how to get food. So he and he already knew. I think we might have been dating at that time for like 2 years. So he knew what I could or couldn't do in the kitchen. So his dad had come to visit that day, and I brought the lasagna over, and I remember his dad eating it like, what? Almost like she could cook like this type of thing. My husband was eating that lasagna looking at me like, really? You gonna say you made this? Really? It was hilarious. I was like, yeah, you got me. No, I didn't make this. My mother made this. So I was trying to pretend like I made that. But it was interesting. But yeah, he used to go to the butcher and get prime rib, and he would invite like my parents over, his parents over, my brothers and their wives, and he would make prime rib and twice baked potatoes. And but see, that's the thing, he would make like a twice baked potato and rice with cheese, and then he would have bacon because he had to eat like that. So I'm eating like that too. So the first year we dated, I gained 30 pounds because I was eating like he was eating, but he was not gaining that weight like I was. So um so he oh wait so he was maintaining and losing weight, if anything, and I gained so much weight eating because he was eating heavy carbs. He would have the twice baked potatoes, he would have mashed potatoes, he put cheese on everything, grits, um what else? Oh, pasta, all kind of pasta with different cheeses and sauces, and it would all be good, all kind of seafood, all kind of steak. His prime rib, because he would get it from the butcher, cut thick prime rib. Probably the pieces I was eating was probably for 3 people, but I have this. He would make my plate like he made his plate, and I'm eating it, and oh my goodness, I know I gained so much weight. I did. That first year I gained 30 pounds. And that's when I realized, like, wait, I'm eating like he's eating, but I'm not playing a sport. I'm not practicing every day, and I need to do something about that. So that's the thing, women, when you get into a relationship, especially if the man that you're with or whoever that you with enjoys food, and especially if they're active, do not eat like they eat. Don't do it. They will always know the best places to go to eat. Don't do it. Like, try and curb your appetite as best as you can, because that thing right there, I don't think I've ever like gotten right since then. It's always been, like me trying to keep it together. So yeah, the twice baked potatoes were really, really good. And then I remember his condo. He had a really big and we still have it. It's a big condo. It's open. It's wide open. And so I would open it, like when I would go over, and it's a gated community, so they would call and let him know I was coming and everything. And when he would open the door and I would look in, if it was messy, I would not go in there. I would be like, I'm not going in. I'll wait outside for you. And I think more women need to be like that. I wasn't one that would go in and start cleaning up and putting things away and helping. No, as your girlfriend, no. And so he became used to that. So he would always know, okay, if Sherry's coming, everything has to be straight. And that is an expectation. And I think it's okay to have those boundaries, to have those standards. And especially because if you don't, people will just continue to do things however which way and give it to you however which way. So he understood, like, she's not gonna come in if my place is a mess. No, I'm not. And some people, I remember some of my friends were like, well, why didn't you could have just, no, I couldn't have. I couldn't have. I'm just his girlfriend. We're not doing that. And that was really important to me. Yes, drink water before you eat. I would, but we would go out, especially during the off season. We would go out like during the week, and I was working on Wall Street. This is while we were dating. I was also coaching basketball, and so I would get off at work at 5:30. I'd get home about 6:37. We would go out like 8 or 9, or sometimes he would pick me up from work and we might go to a play or something in New York if we had tickets. But we would go out at 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm talking about Monday through Friday, especially during the off season. But during the season, it would just be um, sometimes Monday night. It depends on who was playing that night. Um, but definitely because Tuesdays they always have off. So we would be out. We might eat dinner at 10. Then I might get home at 3 in the morning. Then I'm at work again at 9:30 in the morning. I'm leaving my house at 7:30. But when you're young, you could do all that. And so if I'm eating dinner at 10 and then I'm going to sleep, I'm laying on all that. All that. I'm just laying on it. It's sticking to me. And it was something. So that's why when I worked in New York, just to try to get exercise, I would, because Wall Street is all the way downtown. I mean, it's right there by the Brooklyn Bridge. I would take the train to like 14th Street. I would take the A train to 14th Street. I would get off at 14th Street and walk all the way up to 40th Street, because 42nd Street, it's called 42nd Street, but it's really 40th Street bus terminal. I'd go there to take the bus to New Jersey. Then it depends if I got up early enough. Sometimes would drive my car 3 blocks up to the bus stop. But if I was really ambitious and got up early enough, I'd walk 3 blocks up to the bus stop. So then in the afternoon, when I came home, I would walk down to go back home. But when I would walk from 14th to 40th, that was the best exercise for me. And it was really important for me to try to do that as often as possible, because once I realized that I was eating as much as a daggone NFL offensive lineman, I knew that was a situation that could be a problem. So I was like, I have to, stay active. And and that's something that we as women have to be real conscious of, that because weight will sneak up on you, tap you on the shoulder, and if you don't look to see who's tapping and you just be like this, like get away, like I'm good, that thing will just stick on you and it'll stay with you. It's like, okay, you want to ignore me? Here I am, I'm going to be right here with you. So it's really important to you're not impressing anyone by how much you can eat. Even though the food might be good, you don't have to eat all of it. You don't have to have that much of it. And that was my problem. I love the way good food tastes, and I was like, oh, okay, he's still eating. Well, I'm gonna still eat, because I'm trying to tell you, it's really, really comforting to have someone that enjoys food too, because most of the time, especially as women, you're always trying to, eat light. And remember Eddie Murphy had that movie where he said, I'll just have a salad and some water. But when you are dating a big dude that likes to eat, you don't have to worry about just ordering a salad and water. You can order whatever you want. Like it's all good. But you have to, for yourself, be able to pull away and push away. So that was important to me. But I really have been enjoying this time with you guys, and I hope that this live is stirring up some memories for you of Thanksgivings in the past, pre-Thanksgivings, and what you did the night before Thanksgiving that really stuck to you. Things are just so different now, but you can have those memories, talk about those memories, share those memories, call up your family, your friends, your loved ones, laugh about the yesteryears, and have goals for tomorrow. Have future goals of what the next Thanksgivings will be. And they might be different. They might be where, because I know people are even starting to get away from having turkey. There's so many people now that don't even care for turkey all this time. Like, we don't even have baked turkey or whatever. I guess it's called baked when you put it in the oven. We eat fried turkey. We've been doing that since we lived in New Orleans, because that was really popular there. So we don't even eat the traditional turkey. We don't do it with the stuffing inside and all that anymore. But I know people are looking at maybe doing more seafood boils for Thanksgiving. People will have prime rib, prime roast, steak. They grill out for Thanksgiving. Like it's a lot of different things that are going away from the traditional meals. People have, salmon, different types of seafoods, vegetarian. So many people are vegetarians now. My two daughters are vegetarians, and so they don't even eat the turkey or the ham. So they just eat all the sides. They get it in too with those sides. Hey, really, TT, how are you? Good to see you. Really, TT's getting it in with those squats. Y'all gotta go check her out. She is getting it in. Oh my goodness. Yes, it's good to see everyone speaking. Thank you so much, Vern's Junk Closet, you guys. She is everywhere on YouTube. She is one of the most supportive people who is also a content creator, but she is the YT cheerleader. She really helps and supports YouTube channels, and I really appreciate her. And Vernell, I'm so happy to see you. I know I haven't seen you in a minute, and I hope that you and my friend that I was talking to today, Vernell, is in San Francisco, and so she was telling me she's gonna looking forward to taking a walk tomorrow. The weather here has been really really nice. I think it's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow. Yeah, people that are eating seafood. Yeah, let me know if you're not having turkey tomorrow. What else are you having instead? Burns, I know you were telling me about your chicken breast, and I saw the picture, and that thing looks like it's going to be really good when you put it all together. So, what are some other things that you all are going to have instead of turkey and ham? And a lot of people are not even doing the ham anymore because so many people don't eat pork. But I love pork. Oh my goodness. I love that like saltiness. I just do. So, yes. Yes, really, TT. And so what are you having other than turkey and ham? And those are the biggest traditions ever. My dad, I think, is making lamb chops, and I know for Christmas, and it's either Christmas and yeah, it's Christmas and Easter. My mother used to always make the lamb crown and have the booties on it. Remember those? Do you remember seeing those? And it would be so beautiful. The round circle, the whole crown with the things. So Vern's Junk Closet, you're doing the beef tips and the Cornish hens. Okay. What else are you all having? Vernell, what are you having for Thanksgiving? Is it going to be turkey? Is it going to be ham? Really, TT, what are you having? You doing salad, less sugar and butter on the yams. Okay. See, I tried to do yams one year and I just don't think I had enough respect for them because the more I try to doctor it up, the worse it got. And that's why I said I'm gonna leave it to the caterer. I can't because I was trying to like build up my what's it called? I was trying to build up my I was trying to build up what I can make, you know. So far it's just the mac and cheese. Okay. But I was trying to like slowly incorporate more things into what I can make. So one year I said, you know what? I'm gonna try to make the yams too. It was an epic fail. It was so bad. I actually like picked each one up and looked at it because I didn't even think it was well, they were sweet potatoes. I didn't even think they were sweet potatoes because they I don't know what they tasted like. I said this can't be real. This is not right. It's wrong. So Vernell, you said I like the sides on Thanksgiving. I don't even like the turkey or turkey wings. Only thing on the turkey I like is the neck. I'd rather have steak or prime rib. Okay. Yeah. See, a lot of people don't like turkey. They feel like it's too dry. But I'm trying to tell you, the people that do our turkey, it is so moist. It's fried. It looks crazy. It looks low key. It looks almost burnt. It's like fried, but it's so delicious. It is so moist inside. Yes, it is. And so really TT is saying my brother is making me salmon. Yeah. I think Stephanie 50 and climbing is having salmon or she's having some kind of fish for Thanksgiving as well. Hey, Be the Difference Clothing. It's good to see you. She's saying hello to everyone. Thank you for joining. We're about to wrap up in a little bit. I was just talking about being thankful for pre-Thanksgiving and sharing memories of the past and how Thanksgivings used to be and how things are changing now. This time of year, it would be so many people. You're so anxious to see who's coming in, who's flying in, who's going to pick up who from the airport, from the bus stop, from the train station. When I was in school, so everyone is speaking. Okay, perfect. When I was in college, so I went to college at Lincoln University. It's in Pennsylvania, and it is the first HBCU in the country. It was founded in 1854, so it was founded even before slavery was over. And it is nestled in Amish land because it had to be in a safe place, since there was still slavery going on. And at any rate, it's about 45 minutes south of Philadelphia. And so for me, especially my freshman year before I got a car, I had to take a bus to Philadelphia or get a ride, then take the train, the Amtrak train to New York. Then from New York, take the bus back to New Jersey, then walk 3 blocks to my parents' house with luggage. So and I did that. I was well, my father's probably listening. Hmm. But that's how I had to get home. But I'm sure I could have gotten home easier if I would have tried harder, maybe to get a ride with someone. But I wanted to make it a little challenging so that my parents, I knew my mother would be like, we got to get that girl a car. We can't have her coming home because I wouldn't get home till like 10, 11 o'clock at night because I've been traveling all day, planes, trains, and automobiles. Do y'all know that Will Smith and Kevin Hart are going to redo Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Did y'all know that? Did y'all see that movie, the original? They're going to do a remake of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and I am here for it. I cannot wait. But I wanted it to be challenging for me to come home because I knew that my mother would not have it. And so my father, my freshman year, was trying so hard to get me like the right car. Y'all remember the Yugo car? Yugo. Remember the Yugo? Somebody my father knew won a Yugo like in a raffle or something. And my father was going to buy it from them. Y'all remember that Yugo car? It didn't even have a trunk or nothing. It was just a 4 people can sit in it. It had an engine and gas tank, and that's about it. And so he ended up not getting that for me. And then he saw a 1987 Maxima, which I really, really wanted because I graduated high school in 87. And I was thinking, oh, that's a good year, da da da. For whatever reason, that fell through. Then he saw a Mustang, like a 1960 something Mustang, but he didn't think I could drive a stick well enough. So I didn't get that, but I ended up getting a Hyundai. Remember Hyundais first came out? Y'all, let me tell you. So when I used to drive my mother's car, and when you're young and you're thin and willowy, you get cold real quick. And I used to stay cold. So I never would put my mother's air conditioner on. Because I would be so cold. And let's see, everyone is still coming in. So I would be so cold. So when my father took me to the Hyundai dealership, and they, go through, and back then cars didn't just automatically come with air conditioning. You had to, all that was extra. So I said, I don't want an air condition. I'll just do the sunroof. That's fine. More heat, the sun coming through, whatever. Y'all, what? That was the worst mistake ever. That's when I realized it's better to have and not need than need and not have. Because come July and August, I was arriving hair everywhere because I had the windows down, I had the daggone sunroof open, air coming in. So if I was going to somebody's formal event, wedding, whatever, I was a wreck by the time I got there. Sweaty. Oh God, I never realized that. No, yeah, you do get hot. You do. You're not that cold. Yes, she said that yesterday at Coach. Oh, about the let's see, about the fish. I think you're saying about the fish. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So Vernell, she said, I'm eating the sides tomorrow because we're having a small Thanksgiving, so it's not going to be a lot of meat. We're just getting together. Okay, I understand that. That's going to be good. How who's going to get together? Is it like your family or is it close friends? And Vernell is saying, yes, I just want to be thankful for who is here with me. Yes, who is here with you in person as well as in spirit, as well as across towns, cities, and states. Um, I think this is a moment where we all have to just reflect and stand strong on our memories of the yesteryears, because that, we're going to make new memories going forward, absolutely, but we're not able to be surrounded by everyone that we have typically been around. I have something in my eye. I know you guys see me messing around with my eye. um I have my contacts in, which is helpful because I don't have to go like this. I can sit back like this and see them. So that's awesome. I just don't like to wear my contacts all the time. So I'm terrible. I'm very grateful to have eyesight, that is for sure. But I'm not that good with, keeping it all together. But you guys, as you prepare for tomorrow, I will be on tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be live or if I'm going to do a video, because tomorrow is day 26. And today would have been my in-laws anniversary. Let me see. It would have been their 53rd wedding anniversary if my father-in-law was still alive. And I'm trying to tell you, he was a great, great man. Whew, my father-in-law was a great man. My in-laws were college sweethearts. They met at Kentucky State, and both moved to New York and got married in New York. They lived in Brooklyn at first, and then raised their family. My husband and his sister in Long Island, and he was a great man. He died shortly after my mom had passed. So my mother passed the week before school started for my children in 2010, and he passed away the week before school ended that same school year in 2011. And that whole year was just a lot for my family and I. My husband was there with his dad until the very end. He was a huge support for his mom. And I believe that him experiencing me and what I did for my mother and as her caregiver helped him tremendously to be that support and that caregiver for his dad as well. I'm not sure how he would have done if he didn't see me go through that, if he didn't, experience that, if he if he didn't, if he wasn't there for that. So that was actually a blessing, because he and his dad were so close. Oh my goodness. They were so close. He was such a good man. But today would have been their 53rd wedding anniversary. And, it was just a blessing to have known him. He would be so proud of my children. I know he would. Oh my goodness. Mm. But at any rate, none of us are going to get out of this alive. The circle of life is never easy. Having that empty seat at the table, you know, um, is challenging, but that's why memories are important. And to recall them, to laugh about them, cry about them if you must, but just to always revisit them, because that's how you keep the memory of a person alive. And that was definitely one of the things that I had told him, the last thing I said before he passed. First of all, I promised him, first of all, I thanked him for being such a great father in law, but I also promised him that my children would never forget who he was, that I would share, because he was a great man. Um, yeah. But, and that's why also, even with my wedding, videos and pictures and stuff, sometimes it's a little challenging to watch, because so many of the people that were there are not here anymore, not here in the flesh anymore. Um, but that's why we have memories. So just love on each other. Don't hold any grudges. Live with no regrets, and do the best that you can, not only for yourself but others. But definitely do the best for yourself first so that you can have the energy to do for others. It's really, really important. This is the season of Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's a season of uncertainty, but let's give thanks while we're going through. That makes things so much lighter when you can be thankful and grateful for what you have, what you had, and what you're going to receive. And be thankful before you get it. You know, I always thank God for what I asked for in advance. And then when I get it, I praise him even that much more. Let's see. Um, this immediate, oh, your mom and your, okay, mom and daughters, okay, immediate family. Really, TT, before I ask for anything, I want to thank you, Jesus, for everything. Absolutely. Thank you. Amen. That's what I always say every day when I wake up. That's the first thing I say. Every night before I go to bed, that's the first thing I say before I fall off to sleep. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for this day. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for allowing me to lay down and rest and not turmoil. You know, so many people are living with things that are beyond their control, that they are really trying to deal with, that is very challenging. And sometimes they just need that steady hand to help them through, and God is that steady hand. But sometimes it takes another person to share that with them. So if you know anyone that's going through something, be that steady hand, give them that peace, and let them know to lean on God when no one else is around. God is always there, and let them know that that is the steadfastness that they need to get through, and that they will get through. You know, we are all in this to do better, to be better. And whatever you're going through it for a reason. And the reason is not always a negative. You know, find the positive in it, extract the positive, because it's always positive in everything. Even if it's no more than knowing what not to do next time. That's positive. That's what I always say. I rather sometimes learn what not to do next time than always knowing what to do. Because when you know what not to do, that's your testimony. That's when you can pull people up behind you and be like, I see where you're getting ready to go. Don't do it. I went down that road and this is what happened. A, B, C, D. Having those conversations, those real talk conversations is so, so important. Absolutely. Let me see. And Vern's Junk Closet is saying, I say that before my feet hit the floor in the morning. Yes, indeed. You know, when I open my eyes, that's the first thing I say. I'm gonna tell you, professional sports, especially football, is really, really tough. A lot of you may not know this, but all the time, I'm not gonna say every day, but very often, a former professional player has died from something. And my husband retired with Reggie White. I don't know if any of you remember Reggie White, but he played with the with Green Bay Packers, and then he came and played with the Carolina Panthers, and that's where he retired. And he and my husband retired the same year. And I remember my husband would often see him at the gym, and they talking it up, boom, boom. And I remember the last conversation that they had, and he asked my husband, like, man, do you miss it? And my husband was like, I mean, it's a big part of my life, but I'm busy doing other things, and this, that, and the other. And Reggie told him, I really miss it. I miss the camaraderie. I miss, being with the fellas and this, that, and the other. And that was the last conversation that they had, because he died in his sleep. And that happens a lot more than unless a person, and I know Reggie's definitely was publicized, but there's so many players that you don't hear about it. I'm in a group with, is over 2,000 wives that's in this group, and we are all living with the same situations, and we are each other's support. Those are my sisters. And often, too often, I mean, even ALS, there's no cause or cure. That's what my mother had. It is highly found in professional football players and military. Don't know why, but those are the two categories, or the two industries that it is like rampant. But they die from so many different things that you just don't even hear. And I'm talking about young men, as young as 30 years old, just dying. Um, So when I open my eyes, that's my thanks, because I opened it. And to know that my husband opened his is my second thanks, because I first have to be awake to see if he's awake. But, I don't take anything for granted. Trust me. I have been very fortunate and blessed beyond measure, highly favored, but I don't take it for granted because it didn't have to be. And it comes at a cost. Trust me, it does. Nothing worth having is easy, and nothing, and it's harder to keep it. So, it's always a grind. It's always a process, and you just have to trust that God has you. And I have learned to trust Him decades ago. And that's why I can be so light with it, because to me it's like, it's a beautiful thing. I know that God is my father, and He takes care of His kids. I always knew that. And I might not be um preacher wife material, but I'm my husband's wife material, so that's good. But I might not be that one that it can quote every scripture or anything like that, but you best believe I know who my true father is, and I know that He has me. And I walk in kindness, and I walk in faith, and that's all I can do. That's all I know, and that's what He wants. So I do what my father wants. And that's how I know I have so much faith, because I believe that whatever the situation is, he's gonna make it happen. He's gonna allow you to come through it with a peace of mind, as long as you trust in Him. And that's definitely. Burnell is saying God planned it out that way, coach, for your husband to see you go through it. Yeah, he did, Burnell, for real. I'm trying to tell you, because we had no idea that his dad was going to have a relapse with his prostate cancer. He had it years before, years, and had a clean bill of health. And when he started having issues, he thought it was because he needed to get his hip replaced again. He had had a hip replacement years and years and years ago. And he knew that eventually he would have to get it redone, because they had new technology and new things they were using. So when he was having issues, that's what he thought it was. And literally, when my mother's that her last week of life was when we realized that he was having a situation. And it was just, and it was definitely God's will for him to see that. Absolutely. And I'm so glad that he did, and I'm so glad that he was able to be that man, and stand tall and care for his dad. Because so many people, for whatever reason, they don't they don't think they have the strength to do that, to care for their parents. So they stop. They just don't do anything. And then when it's over, and trust me, death is the most final thing ever in life. It is the most final thing. There is no do over. There is no tomorrow. There's no next week. There's no next time. It is final. And so when it's final and you didn't do all you could have done, there's no that I don't even know how a person lives with that. Like, that feeling has to be devastating. And so I'm so glad that he did all he could, and he doesn't have that feeling of devastation. And I think I don't even want to think about what maybe would have been, but I'm just glad that it worked out the way that it did, in order. Yeah, you remember Reggie White, and so he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he was inducted after he died, so his wife had to accept it. And that's around the time when I had my jewelry business. So I remember, she was it was hard. I mean, he was in his early 30s when he died. And so she had to go to the to what's it um it's not Ohio. Forget. It's in July though, the game, and then they have the induction. They wear the yellow jackets and everything. And so it was. I used to design jewelry for a trunk show, and so this woman would have season clothes. So like race car driver wives, bank executive wives, some football player wives, basketball player wives, whatever, would get their fall, winter, spring, summer clothes from her line. I mean, her line was dynamic. It was so dynamic. And I remember she picked out the suit for his wife to wear, and I partnered it with the jewelry for her to wear. And I remember her on the screen and the bust that they had made, because they make busts of the guys' faces and stuff, like from their um, shoulders up, looked just like him. Mm. And I remember her just looking at it like, wow. And I can't even imagine. So, yeah. Hey, Frank TV, how are you? It's good to see you. I'm glad to see you. I've been catching some of your videos, so thank you and welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, the Hall of Fame game, and that's in, I think it's in Indianapolis. For some reason, every year when my husband played, he always played in that game that they have. That's during the preseason, typically. But I want to say it's preseason. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So, guys, tomorrow is not promised. I remember I had a dear friend, one of my most dearest friends. Her and I worked in New York together. We met our husbands at the same time. Her husband was such a great man, great man. And her and I would always say, because my one of the reasons why, first of all, my husband said, if I make it 10 years, I'm good. Like, I'm not going to push the envelope. If I can walk away, I'm going to do that. And so after his 10th season, that's what he did. He wanted to be more of play more of a role in the rearing of our kids. My son was 2, our daughter was a baby. Our third one wasn't even born yet, wasn't even thought of, and so he was a huge, and still is a huge role in my children's lives. Does a lot for them. And my best friend, I'm gonna call her my best friend, she's my sister friend for sure. She Her husband was the same, and they lived outside of Atlanta in Conyers, and she worked in Atlanta, and I think her commute might have been an hour each way. And so her husband had a business that he ran from home and did very well in it. And ooh, her and I would always talk because, like I said, we worked together. When I worked for law firms in New York, we met our husbands the same time. We got married the same year. She got married in December. I got married that February, and she got married that December of the same year. She had a destination wedding in Jamaica, and it was so beautiful. Oh my goodness, it was amazing. And so, we would always say, what would we do without our husbands? Man, they hold it down, because me having my own businesses, especially when I started doing my jewelry business, I was everywhere, all over the country. And, my husband would hold it down with the kids, no problem, no questions asked, nothing. It was like, all good. And so her and I both would be like, gosh, what would we do without them? And one day I got the call, and her husband had died. He had an asthma attack, and immediately I stopped, dropped, and rolled and went down to Atlanta. Like, I was there that morning, and I just looked at her, like I just couldn't take my eyes off of her, because it was our worst nightmare. Like, I wanted to see how she moved, how she handled it, because I know so many women who have lost their husbands, but they were in, my husband's industry, and I know them, but none of them were as close as me and this woman are. And our kids are the same age and everything, and oh my goodness. Ooh. And I remember telling her, I was like, I'm just looking at you. I'm just watching you. I'm trying to see how you're going to move. I need to see. And she is doing so well. This was probably, wow. It was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. No, like 7 years ago when he died. Wow. But she's doing very well. She really was able to get it together, and that's the thing. You just got to really, really trust and know that God literally will never give you more than you can handle. You think you can't when it happens, because it's so new, it's so foreign, it's so dynamic, dramatic, it's everything, but you can handle it. just really put your hand out to him and just breathe. I remember when my father-in-law passed, and his mother, my husband's mother, she took it so hard. Oh my goodness. And my husband told her, he was like, Mom, you know, when you wake up in the morning, that's your chance. That means that you can get over it. Like, this is going to take day by day. So every day you wake up, it's going to get better because you woke up. And it's a lot. Yes. Hello, Pink Motivation. Great to see you here. Thank you for joining in. And Vernell is saying, Coach, how did you and your husband meet? That is a great question. I think I'm gonna leave that for another video, how we met video. It was wonderful. It really was. It was. And we had a great courtship. And I'm gonna call it that. It was a courtship. But I am definitely, and I remember you asking me that, and I'm definitely going to do another video about that. um, and it actually has a lot to do with your brand, you know. Everyone has a brand. You have your personal brand, you have your business brand. Either way, you need to protect it and manage it, because you just never know who's watching you. You never know um, who is looking at how they can connect you with others. And the way that you move, the way that you carry yourself will determine whether or not they deem you worthy to the introduction. If that makes sense. So, really managing your brand and understanding the importance of that early. And there's no rule that says you can't rebrand yourself. You definitely can rebrand yourself. When I work with my workforce development participants, I always tell them you can rebrand, because I work with people that, in some cases, but definitely not all, are second chance, people that may have made personal choices that weren't going to serve them well, um, if they kept on that road. But there's always an opportunity to rebrand. So I never want anyone to think that if they have been living a certain way or doing a certain thing, that they, like, it is what it is. No, it's not. You can always rebrand. Look at McDonald's. They rebranded. That's why they're Mickey D's. They started adding salads and healthier choices on their menus. KFC, they rebranded when people started saying they're not really making chicken. So they stopped calling themselves Kentucky Fried Chicken. They started calling themselves KFC. People are always rebranding themselves, always. I see everyone is speaking. Thank you so much. And yeah, Vern, the whole time that I was talking just a minute ago, I was thinking about you. Absolutely. She said, yes, it is awful to lose your spouse, especially if he was your best friend. Yes, yes. Mm. Um, it's incredible. The amount of women that I know, especially from professional football player wives that have lost their husbands. It's just devastating. It really is. It's like we just keep missing the bullet. I mean, it's incredible. There's a reason why, and I don't know if y'all know, but if a guy is fortunate enough, is blessed enough to play long enough to be vested, they can pull from their pension at 45. Most people, you can't pull from your pension that early, and that's because their life expectancy isn't that long in that way. And yeah, it's a lot to it. But that's why we just make the most of it. It's not about fussing and fighting and um, living life reckless, or doing things that's going to harm the other person. I only have great memories. I really do. And I'm thankful for that. Um, I didn't realize it was going to be like it is now. And, oftentimes it makes me really sad. Like, the changes that have occurred. I find myself having to um, share a lot of my memories with my children because it's so different, and just kind of like how it used, like how he was, and everything. And that's a whole nother video too. But I'm trying to tell you, football is a gladiator sport. My son was really, really good in football, and he's actually a legacy. My father's father had a scholarship and played in college, and my husband, of course, had a scholarship and played in college and took it to the next level and played 10 years pro. And then, my son is the next, taking it even further. Um, but him seeing like what it can do to a person physically and mentally made him opt out. It made him decide, I don't. And you know what is so interesting? I remember when he was in high school, like when he started high school, um, I felt like, I kind of think this is another video. I'm sorry, I don't want to put everything, because I hear my son like in my head telling me, "Mom, you talk about a lot of different things." So I'm gonna leave that for another video. Mm. Let's see. Hi, North Vikings. Hello there. How are you? It's good to see you. That's interesting, North Vikings. I like that name. My daughter's high school was the Vikings. I was blinding lights earlier. You're a new channel? Okay. Well, welcome. Welcome to these YouTube streets. It's all about connecting with people authentically and organically. I have great people in my live stream right now, and I, encourage you to check them all out as well. All of you, if you all are not already connected with each other, please be sure to connect. I know Vernell is in the building. Lisa Black was in the building. I hope she's still here. House of X Entertainment Inc. Let's see. Yeez Belize. I'm so happy to have you. And Just Vlogging Life is here. Let's see. Vern's Junk Closet, always great. Garrett Spencer, all right. So you must have snuck in between Vern's and House of X Entertainment. How are you? I don't want to miss anyone. And let's see, Really TT has come in. Be the Difference Clothing, always great to see you as well. I love it. This is awesome. Um, let's see. Frank GTV23 in the building. Pink Motivation. Awesome. And I also want to thank you, Pink, again for inviting me to be a guest on your show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the platform that you provided, and I love what you do for other YouTube channels as well. You are dynamic. And North Vikings. All right. And what else are you saying? Okay, so he's speaking, or I'm not sure if you are he or she, but North Vikings is speaking to everyone. Thank you, thank you. So, you guys, today is again day number 25 of November Thankful Nuggets, and I am so thankful for this pre Thanksgiving day. That's what this is, or what is it? Thanksgiving Eve. Thanksgiving Eve. I was trying to think of what we call Christmas, the day before Christmas. So it is Thanksgiving Eve. And like I said, I have great memories of Thanksgiving Eves of the past. And, I'm about to go out here with my family, and we're going to create another great Thanksgiving Eve memory. So for all of you that are with your families right now, hug them, love them, enjoy them. For those of you that will be seeing family members tomorrow, whether it's in live and in person or virtually, I hope you enjoy and love on them as well. I will be seeing you tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure what time. I'm getting my times all together. I saw how Vern's Junk Closet walked in, because see, you know what Vern's does? I feel like this is what I feel like. I feel like, we are on these YouTube streets. We have houses. We come to each other's house, and I'm in somebody's house, and Vern walks past the room, And she walks past the room, but then she backs up and looks and like, wait, is that Sherry? Is that Sherry? Because I didn't know she was even in the building. And it is hilarious to me because she comes in stomping like, wait a minute. Nobody told me you was going live. And so I love it. Burns makes me laugh. So I it's funny to me. So anyway, I will be live tomorrow. I'm just not sure exactly what time. I gotta get the food that we had catered and put it all together and get our china. My girls get the china. I remember when my daughters were young, really young, because I had them setting the table 2, 3 years old. I don't even know, maybe like 3, 4. And my youngest said, "Is this made in? Is this Chinese?" And I'm like, "Why would you think that?" And she's like, "Because it's called China." And I'm like, "No, but you know what? That makes sense. That a young child would think that." But at any rate, I will see you tomorrow. And if you are eating, I won't be eating when I'm on. I probably would have eaten already. And I'm just gonna, it takes me all day to make my mac and cheese because I put so much love. I literally, when I make it, I think about how much I love my family because I want to make it the best that I can. I want them to love it when they eat it. And they do. So, I'm going to come on sometime after maybe the first wave of dinner. I don't know how often you eat during Thanksgiving. We try to at least eat twice off of our dinner and then go ahead and get the desserts. And I'm going to tell you about our desserts tomorrow. I'm not doing the sweet potato cake because I don't cook like that. My youngest didn't think that she was qualified yet to make it. So I'm trying to convince her and encourage her that maybe by Christmas she can do it, talk to her grandmother a little bit more and just get more empowered to do it. So we'll see. And let's see, Vernell is saying, hello, everybody coming in the building. Don't forget to thumbs up and don't forget to get to know your neighbors above you. I would love you. Yes, that's a good point. I love that. Get to know your neighbors. You're all neighbors in this stream. Absolutely. Pink Motivation is saying, OMG, I really love you so much. Thank you for joining me. We move as one. Yes, we do. We do. Vern's John Closet. That's my girl. So yes, you guys. Yes, and stay safe. Thank you, North Vikings. Stay safe. Absolutely. Whatever you do, wherever you are, please stay safe. Whether you're in your home or out, stay safe. So, you guys, this channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, and of course, real life, real issues, and real talk. I am Coach Sherry. It has been my pleasure to be here with you tonight. I appreciate you for stopping by. You could have been anywhere. And you said, you know what? I'm going to go and check and see what Coach Sherry is doing. And I might just hang out there a little bit. So I appreciate you for hanging out with me, listening to me, share my stories, and even sharing your stories. Because I heard a lot about, Vernell was talking and also, goodness, Vernell, who came in with you earlier? Um, so bad. But I enjoyed it. And so I appreciate you. And until we speak again, which will be tomorrow, remember, play, practice how you play. Practice so hard that when you play, you will always play to win. This has been Real Talk with Coach Sherry. And I'll put this up